Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. All right, so I've been having thoughts in my head floating around in regards to the NBA, but nothing really concrete because there's honestly nothing to really share other than speculation and thoughts and various different things. But I think right now, as a Laker fan, where my head automatically goes uh, is LeBron James, of course, because we got the news yesterday that Bronny, his son, suffered cardiac arrest. And, when things like that happen, obviously it just changes and recalibrates your entire focus. LeBron James' whole purpose right now is, of course, to stay in the game long enough for his son to get into the and ultimately be a part of it. And this puts a obvious monkey wrench in that dream. And it just makes you wonder where LeBron James's mind is going to be heading into this season and what his priorities are going to be going forward, where his focus is going to be going forward. Is it going to be on the court anymore, and should it be, given that this has now occurred? And it's not the time to say, Bron, your head going to be in the game. No, the answer is, of course not. His son just went through something that they're going to have to not only monitor, but they're going to have to manage. And what I mean by that is all the things that have to be done, and then all the things that you're going to be thinking about having to do as a parent, and where you think you need to be at a given moment now that this is in your reality. Because, see, for anyone who goes through something like that, it now becomes a lifestyle change. And for their loved ones, it becomes a lifestyle change too, to a degree to where at any given moment, you feel that this could reoccur. Even if the doctors tell you it can't, it's a part of your life now. It's like, all right, at any given moment, not only am I worried about my son's health, but I'm worried about the other two kids as well, just because I just now have had this happen. And maybe I need to be home more. Maybe I need to be on top of things more. Maybe I need to be accessible to the family more. Maybe we need to get them away from here or over there or whatever. A lot of things change. And even though LeBron James probably has the resources to provide himself whatever he needs, whether he's present or not, for his family, at the end of the day, that's not exactly how the psychology of certain circumstances like this work. It don't matter that I got $1.5 billion to throw at the situation. I need to be present. I need to make sure my kid is there. Heck, I need to be in the room with him as he sleeps, just in case this happens again. Like, that's the type of panic energy that I'm used to from my mother, from some of the loved ones and parents that I've known, to where when it comes to the kids, it's like, yo, I'm about to quit everything so that I can watch them 24/7. And so that's the kind of question I have: is this going to be the type of thing that could be possible for the king and his wife? And if so, is that going to pull him away from the game permanently? Because he's already in year 21, and I'm telling you right now, the stuff he was thinking about 48 hours ago is not the stuff he's thinking about right now. I don't need to know him to know that. The stuff that mattered to him, his goals and dreams about his son, all of that stuff is different today. Because at the end of the day, this happened. The worst of it could have been possible. We're thankful it didn't. But now we got to manage not only the circumstance, but we got to manage our fears ourselves as a parent, if in that situation, as a loved one around him, his brother, his little sister. They all got to manage it. And of course, LeBron is the father and breadwinner, is going to have to make sure everybody's straight. So these are the type of events that can pull certain minds away from the game, man, forever. Like, these are the type of situations that'll make a man say, yeah, I'm good. I've gotten everything I need out of this game. And so I'm not saying that's what LeBron James is saying. I'm just saying that there are people out there who would go through this, and that would exactly be what they go through. That's exactly what they come to, their conclusion. I remember when Drew Holiday stepped away from the game for his wife when she was going through some very serious, life-threatening health things and a pregnancy at the same time. He said, man, I will come back to the game. I'll come back. But took as much time as necessary to be present. And they were able to get through it. His career continued, ended up NBA champion, all the different things. His career was never derailed from it at all. And, the good thing about his situation is he was not further into his career. So that's really what it comes down to. I'm not suggesting Bron think one way or another. I'm not saying what is right or wrong or what I feel is best. I don't have any understanding because I'm not a father. But I know how anxious I can be. And so with the type of personality I have, if I had the resources, I probably wouldn't be comfortable. Still, even with the resources, I wouldn't. I'd probably want to be more present. I'd probably want to be that dad that, you know what I'm saying? We're monitoring him now in a different way, and they probably gonna have to monitor me to keep me chilling in regards to that. So that's I'm just wondering if Bron's anything like that. Obviously, when it comes to situations like this, it's unprecedented. And I think about for myself, just looking at the different things that are going on. We seen just a few days ago that Gilly lost his son Cheese, and so it's like I know for a absolute fact that LeBron James is tapped in with that, just like the rest of the community is. And to have seen that, and then have a few days later, you know, just like every father who heard of that story with Cheese, looked at their sons and said, "Man, this is my worst fear. I hope this doesn't happen." I'm pretty damn certain LeBron James had that moment when he heard that story happen, and then 3-4 days later his son is in cardiac arrest. It's certain stuff that just makes you stop and say, man, nothing at all in this life is more important than the things that matter to me the most. And that's what's been shaken up here. So if I'm LeBron James, I'm kind of not even really thinking about myself. I'm not really thinking about my brand. I'm just thinking who it is I believe in, and my son is still here, and then I got to do whatever I can to make sure that if for some reason something happens again, my satisfaction in regards to what it is I can do gets done. And maybe he feels that way. Maybe that's enough. Maybe we're definitely there. But my thing is, in my head, I would be like, nah, I gotta do things a little different, and I don't know how that's gonna allow for me to do what it is I usually do. So that's how my mind would go. As somebody who doesn't have children, who's not in that position, who doesn't know of much of what LeBron James's reality would be in the situation, other than the emotions that come with being concerned about someone that you really, really, really love and are responsible for, and all these various different things. Coupled with the fact that they're public figures to the highest order, you know what I mean? To where, you know, it's just a crazy thing where you're gonna have to hear people's theories and these accusations about what your intentions was. I'm listening to everybody that they're saying everything. You know, it's a lot of clickbaiting entities out there, some of which I actually enjoy their content. They're saying things that I don't agree with in regards to the situation. Not to say that I know of any truths in regards to conspiracies, but I just think that it's very easy to go to the celebrity trying to sacrifice, or the vaccine theory, or all these different things that are so easy to copy and paste, just based on the culture we have here, and how we tend to allow conversations to cover around subjects such as these. I don't know. What I will say is I try not to let my mind wander too far, and I want to get as much time in between the situation as possible before I start allowing some of these speculations that I'm hearing about to grace my channel themselves. So, you know, wild speculations are easy to run with. I have a crazy imagination. I could run with crazy speculation, but what we want to respect is the sensitivity of time and the sensitivity of common sense. Common sense. You understand what I'm saying? And sometimes common sense will be ignored so that one can apply some of those theories to big name stars. Like, you know, I heard a theory about LeBron James, wanting his son to fake this process so that they could tank his draft stock and ultimately put him on the Lakers. It's like, okay, but common sense would tell you that that's probably not something you want to play around with, given the fact they would actually have to induce him going through this process with some type of drug or something. They would have to stop his heart to make this happen. I don't think it makes much sense to risk it, and I'm saying that with absolute and utter sarcasm, because clearly it's not. Now one can say, oh, maybe they faked it, maybe they had everybody in on it, blah 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 blah. But when you start having something like that happen, then you gotta let your common sense come into play and say, okay, the character's in play. How greedy are they gonna get? That's the question. Okay, if LeBron James wants to orchestrate a 70-man team to pretend like his son is going through this process, one of them 70 people gonna ask for way too much money in the situation, bro. Just to keep it quiet, bro. I'm gonna need $100 million. I know you're a billionaire. Give me a tenth of your damn wealth to keep this crap quiet. Like, that is just possible. And then it turns into all different types of stuff that is just Very, very, very unnecessary. And so that type of theory is out there, but that type of theory is garbage because common sense tells you that it's way too much work to go through that process when if they just want to put the kid on the Lakers, they just put him on the damn Lakers. It's literally that simple. They don't have to fake his health scare to tank his draft stock so that the Lakers can undraft him Colin Castleton / Austin Reeves style. I hate to tell everybody this, but if Bronny James is available to be drafted, even after this has taken place, he will be drafted. That plan ain't gonna work anyway. Somebody gonna take that kid. Okay, so that let's debunk that theory early for those who want to run with that, or for those who want to throw that into the air. Trust me, it's okay to think crazy stuff, but you gotta ask questions. Is it too much work to go through that process? Is it too much risk to initiate that plan? And the chances that it may be yes is high in this situation. I don't think they're going to stop Bronny's heart so that he can get on a certain basketball team, friends. I don't think it's that serious. I would tell the NBA there is got to be an easier and more healthy and safe way to funnel that young man to a specific franchise. My God. And I'm sure it is. So let's debunk that. I've heard this stuff about LeBron James putting too much pressure on his son. And as a result, his son has health problems. If you want to reach that far, don't think that anyone's going to listen to that and not look at you like you are trying to clickbait. Because that's all it's... Brother. Please. That theory is wild, man. I understand that there's a lot of pressure on Bronny, and maybe I too feel like LeBron James might have put a little more pressure on his son than he probably should have early on. And I think he kind of started pulling back and loosening that up. I think he kind of started feeling that way himself. And I sensed that he was allowing his son a lot more say-so and freedom in the matter. And it's like, I don't think LeBron James' expectations of his son is to be the first overall pick or nothing like that. But, at the same time, it is a lot of pressure that comes along with it just in general with him being LeBron James' son. So, for me, as I look at the situation, I just honestly look at LeBron and I say, I think you got the right idea loosening up on the young fella. And even furthermore, after this takes place, loosening's just the same. You know what I mean? Obviously, you're going to listen to the doctors. The doctor's going to be strict, and they're going to tell you what's okay. But after that, the less pressure the young man is under, probably the better in general, regardless of what the truth is about whatever anybody thinks. I think that there doesn't need to be any correlation between the pressure placed upon his son and the event itself. But I think the pressure, just the same, is something to look at now that the event has occurred. I will say that. It's like, all right, let's make sure he's happy still. Let's make sure that nothing contributed to this in that way. No pressures, anything like that contributed to that. And of course, the vaccine conversation is real. We don't know what LeBron James and their family was really thinking in regards to that situation, because they're such public figures that they have to take certain stances just to keep their brand intact. So when the vaccine was going on, I don't remember what Bron's thought was, other than I'm getting all the information and we're going to do what we need to do. But as far as whether he took it or not, I don't know. Whether his son took it or not, I'd imagine he probably had to get into whatever the situation. Sierra Canyon, they probably wanted all the kids to vax at the time. We know how it was. Do I think there's some issues there between the vaccines and heart issues? I think that we've seen more young people have heart issues since the vaccine was put in place. I think those stories have been popping up left and right. And I think that that's something that everybody's looking at, not just myself. So while we can sit up here and take strong opinions on it one way or another, the correlation between an increase to the eyesight, or at least an increase in the conversation in regards to these things being pointed out and highlighted more so now than then, I think that's where we're at. We're seeing it more now. We're talking about it more now. And that is something that none of us are going to be able to shake. Uh, very, very healthy people are having these issues. And it's just something that we're not seeing. We didn't see as much when I was growing up. We saw it, but not nearly as much as we're seeing it now. And supposedly we're healthier. Our diet is healthier. We don't smoke cigarettes like we used to, and as a society, um, our conditioning is overall more advanced. We've learned how to take care of ourselves, and our science is advanced. But it seems like we're finding that we're getting worse in this area. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. So that is what I see. I haven't followed any data. I ain't did any homework. It's just what I see. So that's what I want to tell people at the end of the day. Take care of your health. Doctor visits regularly is always a good thing. All the good stuff for yourself. Promoting health within yourself is what we always talk about, especially as it pertains to athletics, stretching, drinking water, keeping your stress down, your mind sharp, and all these different things. But when it comes to an 18-year-old kid who's at the top shape, whose father is LeBron James, the Bionic Man, with total control over his body, you just think that this is a bit strange that that particular person would have this particular issue. It's like, of all the genetics in the world that you don't think would have a problem like this, it's definitely the James genetics. So I know that that's an ignorant thing to say because there's a lot that goes into it, but at the end of the day, that's the first thing that comes to mind. Like, yo, he's a James. Why is he having these problems? Literally. And so that's where my mind went as well in the midst of all of this. And that part can cater to why people will go to the conspiracy theory thing as well, to be honest with you. It just is what it is. But, I wish the best for everybody, man. I hope none of these conspiracies are real. I don't know. I don't know nothing. I'm on this level. And I've heard all my life that when you get to a certain level, a lot of things get moved around, especially when the world is watching you. It's important that the things that revolve around you are presentable, or whatever the case may be, by way of the world we're in. A lot of money moved around, a lot of influence. As we said about LeBron mentioning the vaccine or whatever, him mentioning whatever social things, it can sway public opinion. So with that comes a certain possibility of things just being a bit more structured as it pertains to the details of your life and how they're revealed to others, and ultimately how they play themselves out, with many moving pieces and a lot of people's vested interest making things happen around you, etc. And that's where I also went. And that's a conspiracy, but I think it's one that I'm pretty sure, if I'm LeBron James, that's the one I'm probably wondering about. This is somebody trying to attack my family. Did somebody hurt my son? And you have to think that. When you look at as many enemies as he has, you look at as many people who want to move his money around, as many people who are probably interested in whatever happens to his money in the hereafter, and how that money will probably go to this young man. You have to, if you're on the king side of things, protect yourself from your own paranoia. It's kind of what we were talking about earlier in this thing. You know what I mean? Paranoia will make you feel like everybody after you, but making sure that you protect your family at the end of the day from all threats that could be possible, especially the ones that act like they're your homeboy, act like they're part of the village raising your kid. Those are the ones that my paranoia would have me concerned with. Who gave him what? Do I know everything that goes into my son's body? That's the type of stuff I'm thinking about. Did he take something I don't know about? These are the things that I'm pretty sure LeBron James already got people on top of, but that's the type of stuff that I most definitely would have people on top of. You know what I mean? So it's a lot that LeBron has to consider, and that is also what I think could pull him away from the game. Just that type of concerns, like, all right, man, I don't know. I got to keep my son close. LeBron ain't going to be there damn near every Laker game if I'm running things, like, because he going to be with me as his father. And so that's the type of paranoia that I would have to guard against. That's the type of detail that ultimately a circumstance like this would prompt when you got a lot. And it's a lot of people who want what you have. So that's actually, believe it or not, probably the very first thing that went into my mind before any other conspiracy theory was did somebody attack this man's son on behalf of their own hate for him? Honestly. And so I hate to put that out in the world, but I just think with all the conspiracies that are out there, that's the one I haven't heard, and that's the one that my mind went to. So I don't know, man. But prayers out to the James family, and they put out a lot of good in this world. Even though a lot of people want to talk about them in different ways, maybe they don't agree with what they've done. But LeBron James done a lot of good, and he stood for a lot of good. To the best of his ability, he's articulated himself in a way that allows the people to understand that he ain't just sitting on his high horse with all his privilege and all his gifts, not caring about nobody else. He remembers where he came from, and he still has a lot of people there in those places that he care about. So that's why we seeing gracious love to LeBron James for his family, Bronny, his son, of whom he seems like he's raising strong in the right way, and we just want no weapon formed against them to have any success whatsoever. That's what it comes down to. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say, man. I want to acknowledge that a little differently. I didn't really have a basketball topic, but I'm gonna call this a Laker video because it's a Laker player. It's our very own. In fact, this is the longest tenured current Laker on the team. Even that sounds weird, but that is actually what it is with LeBron James. So yeah, I want him to know that here we have his back, and we definitely think that that's beyond basketball and beyond our appreciation for the team. So that's what I want to say, man. Shout out to the James gang. We're happy Bronny's doing well. Hopefully he'll be back on the court real quick. And hopefully, and I say this and I mean it, hopefully their privilege as a James family can get his draft stock to where it will need to be. And I know people be like, that's not fair. Yeah, but I think they're going to try to dock him for it because it's his heart. Now they're going to be like, second round, draft him where you thought you were going to draft him if the doctors say he's cool. And hopefully if they try to do something otherwise, he can push that James card in the way. So, put me back where I need to be. That's really what I'm saying is BDL 44. Put him where he needs to be. So that's pretty much what I got. My name is BDL 44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.